everybody, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a big part of my life. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Cynthia Erivo Jesus Christ Superstar controversy. Now, I'm sure if you've been around in the last week or two, you will have heard about this controversy regarding the casting of Cynthia Erivo as Jesus Christ in Jesus Christ Superstar. So I thought I would talk a little bit about it, explain it to you if you didn't quite get it, because let me tell you, there's so much conflicting information out there. I just wanted to get it all straight and also just share my thoughts on it, because why wouldn't I? But before I get into this video, remember that you can like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and you can also follow me on my social medias, which is XWilsonX on Instagram and HopeWilson45 on TikTok and Twitter. I do have a chair this week. If you were here last week, you will know that it was chaotic not having me sit down, but we have a chair this week. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with, who is Cynthia Erivo? If you don't know the answer to this question, you may have been living under a rock, but I'm going to explain it for you because you may be a little behind. So Cynthia Erivo is an actress. She is most probably well known for the Wicked movie that came out where she played Elphaba, but she's done many things. She's been in lots of television, but she started in musical theatre as a musical theatre actress. Probably if you're looking at theatre, what she's probably most known for is The Colour Purple, where she played Celie, which was just amazing. But yes, that is who Cynthia Erivo is. And also, what is Jesus Christ Superstar? Jesus Christ Superstar is a musical written by Andrew Lloyd Webber in 1973, which is about like the final few days of Jesus's life before his crucifixion. Now, one thing to be very clear about Jesus Christ Superstar is A, it's not historically accurate, because realistically what musical is. And number two, a very notable thing about Jesus Christ Superstar is Judas is essentially the main character, and he's also not the villain of the story, which honestly you think people would have more issues with, but anyway, nonetheless, they don't. But they have an issue with Cynthia Erivo. So let's get on to the production. So Cynthia Erivo has been casted as Jesus in a production of Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl. The Hollywood Bowl is essentially like an outdoor theatre, much like the Muni if you're in America, if you know what that is, or possibly like Regent's Park open air theatre in the UK, but on a much bigger scale than here in the UK. And it's a production that goes on for, I literally think, like 3 days. And some previous productions have extended. You may remember there was a production of Into the Woods with Sutton Foster and Gaten Matarazzo. They also did a chorus line with Ross Lynch from like Disney and Nickelodeon. They've done a bunch of stuff. But this year, they decided the musical they're going to be putting on is Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl. Now, I think Cynthia Erivo is going to be amazing. As soon as I saw that news, I went, yes, please. That's going to be great. Thank you very much. I'll take my lead. I love it. But many people have had a problem with it. And I'll tell you for why. Cynthia Erivo is a black queer woman and Jesus is not. Now, like I said, Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar is a fictionalized version of Jesus Christ. He's not real in this version. This is a fictional version. It's also not accurate to the Bible either. So why this matters, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you why people are mad and what I think about it. So, number one, people have an issue with the fact that Cynthia Erivo was a woman and Jesus was a man. It's a musical. Calm down. People gender swap all the time. Who cares? This is not a film about Jesus. This is in no way intended to be accurate to the Bible. This isn't like Christians, the musical. It's nothing like that. This is literally it's a rock musical. Calm down. Also, the Catholic Church have said that it is not offensive to the religion. So if they're okay with it, you should also be okay with it. Number two, Cynthia Erivo is a black woman and Jesus was not black. Well, I'm going to tell you this, right? In most productions, and I say most productions of Jesus Christ Superstar, Jesus is played by a white man. Now, I have something to tell you. Jesus was not a white man. He, in fact, was probably anything but a white man, as he was born in Bethlehem, which is in Asia. So anyone saying that it should be played by a white man is kind of objectively wrong in saying that a white man deserves to play this role more than a black woman does. You have no leg to stand on. I'm sorry, but you don't. And number three, Cynthia Erivo is queer. As well as being a woman, she is also queer. She's in a queer relationship. Who cares? When a straight person plays a gay person, nobody really cares. And the only people that really do care are the queer community, because in some cases, straight people and cis people don't necessarily have the understandings and the viewpoints required to play those roles, aka trans roles, just as an example. But for some reason, because it's about Jesus, even though this is a historically inaccurate fictional rock musical about Jesus, and it's not to do really with the real biblical version of Jesus, people have a problem with that. But what does Cynthia Erivo's sexuality have to do with her ability to play a role in a musical? It literally doesn't. And I'm not here to fight her own battles, but I'm just trying to say that if he was a straight man, you wouldn't care. But because it's not, you've got a problem with it. And that, my friends, is homophobia. And also slightly sexism, but it kind of depends on which way you look at it. But that's not the point. And it's also not like Jesus hasn't shown up in television and shows where he's kind of blasphemed anyway, and this version really isn't that. And like I said, I don't understand how people can have more of a problem with Cynthia Erivo, a talented musical theatre performer, playing Jesus, when Judas is literally not the villain of this show at all, and Jesus is portrayed as kind of not wholly great. But no, people have a bigger issue with a black queer woman playing Jesus in a fictional version, in a musical. Also, Tim Rice, who is the lyricist for Jesus Christ Superstar, said that art should be done in many forms and there's no reason why this version is any different. And I wholly agree with that statement. He also said, and sorry, I'm having to use my mic and read at the same time. Tim Rice was being interviewed and someone said, but doesn't Jesus have to be a man? And Tim Rice replied, well, I don't think so. I mean, nobody knows exactly what Jesus looked like, and probably the image of Jesus that a lot of people have is probably inaccurate. And that's so right, isn't it? And basically this interviewer just keeps on asking but why? And Tim Rice is just batting it back saying, who cares? It's a musical. It's not that deep. I just feel like the grounds for argument here just aren't strong enough. If this was some historically accurate film and they were openly cursing Jesus and saying that all these things about him, maybe I would understand. But musical theatre is never meant to be too serious. Even when it is, it's still not to the same extent as it is in real life. For example, Six the musical. I'm pretty sure Anne Boleyn didn't have space buns and was dancing across the stage. But I can appreciate that that is a fictionalized version of Anne Boleyn, and she probably wasn't like that at all in real life. But I can understand where the source material came from, right? I can understand that Don't Lose Your Head is a story about Anne Boleyn and it's telling me the events of what Anne Boleyn went through, but I can understand that it's not that serious, and also it's not real. Also, I would love, and this is kind of unrelated, but I would love to play Judas at some point, Heaven on Their Minds. What a tune. And I believe in God, I don't have to share that with people, but I believe in that Christian form of God, and I believe in the morals of the Bible, and I really don't have a problem with it because I understand musical theatre and how it's not that deep. I feel like a lot of people who have chimed in actually really don't invest themselves in musical theatre a lot, and I think that's where the problems are stemming for. A lot of the people who have issues with it are not people in the musical theatre community at all. And if musical creatives don't have an issue with it, in a lot of cases you probably also don't need to have an issue with it because it has nothing to do with you. And this is not me coming for you or whatever, this is just me trying to get my point across. And it's the fact that this controversy has felt like more of an opportunity to slander a black queer woman than anything. That I feel like if it was a white woman, we wouldn't have this issue. I feel like if they would have casted a white woman as Jesus, we probably wouldn't be having the same amount of backlash that we do right now with Cynthia Erivo. When Cynthia Erivo is such a talented individual and she's so successful and she's so amazing and inspiring and all of these amazing things, but because she's a black queer woman, people have made it a problem. And I just think that this whole controversy has been an excuse to just hate on black queer women. And what is that about? Because that's not okay. But people are disguising it with, oh, it's blasphemous to Christianity. but your issues don't really lie with the source material and how it's about Christianity at all. You're just talking about how a black queer woman who is insanely talented should not play a role purely based on who she is as a person. Like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like that is what I'm trying to get across, and I don't want to come across as like, oh, like I'm hating or whatever, but this is a serious problem that we actually really need to talk about, because I think black women especially constantly get destroyed by the media and criticized by the critics for no reason other than the fact that they're black women. And there are so many talented black women, as there are with everyone, but it feels like there's this added weight because they are black women. And that is not okay, and it's something I think that really needs to change, because this controversy really isn't about Jesus Christ Superstar at all. It's about someone subverting the norms and people not being okay with that. And it's 2025. The industry, especially the theatre industry, is not the same as it was 50 years ago when this musical came out. It's not. So I think people just need to accept that you may not like everything, and that is fine, but that doesn't give you the excuse to be racist and homophobic. I'll say it. I've said it. That's what I'm saying, you know? And I hope I've not offended anyone in this video, because I tend to do that when I talk about things, but it's just because I care and I think they need to be spoken about. It's not like this is just a one-off event. Like, this has been happening for years and years. And so I just feel like we need to get it straight that the problems that people have are not the problems that they think they have. And it's all just rooted in a much deeper societal problem. But I feel like I've got a bit too deep. We've gone too far down the hole, although I could just talk about this all day. But I felt like it was important to talk about. I felt like it was an important conversation that needs to be had. Should I be the one having it? Probably not. You know, I feel like there are many black voices and people of colour that you should definitely go and listen to and talk about on this topic, because it directly affects them, and I'm sure their opinions are worth way more than mine in conversations like this. But I wanted to see if we could get a point across. And I'm sure if you're watching this video that you don't believe that this is blasphemous or whatever, but I just thought it was important to talk about. So yeah, I feel slightly out of breath after that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry it got so serious, but sometimes you have to. You know, sometimes you have to. But I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I think I already said that. Like this video if you liked it. Keep enjoying musicals as much as me. Follow me at all my social medias. And I'll see you in the next one.